I actually found a way in, and I have started streaming probably way too early, but anyway.
Yeah, no shit, man.
I've just done it anyway. Oh man, there's another screw up. Oh man, okay, right, well,
Perfect.
stream's up and running anyway, and we are starting up
Behind
the
the scenes
lobby.
footage.
Hello everybody, and welcome along to part 3, which was only supposed to be part
For the technical
2.
difficulties, V8 Supercars.
For the technical difficulties,
Oz and
the technical difficulties have actually been resolved for the feature race. So welcome along to the feature
now
race.
we just have cranial difficulties.
Yeah, my name is Gear 3 Gaming, and joining me on the mic is MeWady XO48, and we'll be taking you through the feature race here at Watkins Glen. We've just finished the sprint race that Sado took his 3rd win of the season in it, and it was a fairly decent race. And the good thing is I've actually switched to my good hotspot now. I don't even know why I used this other one, because it really isn't great. Now,
And by the way it's looking, it's also improved his, you know,
everything.
thinking capabilities. Yeah, just his personality in general got improved by changing hotspot.
Yeah, no, because I've gone from being extremely nervous to actually doing this. So anyway, welcome back to the Watkins Glen International Circuit. This is the circuit in New York State, and it's played host to Formula 1, NASCAR, and IndyCar. And, of course, it is playing host to round 5 of the Oz and Z Combined V8 Supercars Championship for 2019. And now it's going to be playing host to the, feature race. And on your screen now, it's qualifying for the feature race, which only has 4 minutes in it.
That's the one thing it did not
Anyway.
improve. He has a few more bugs in his system now.
Anyway, right. So we should also mention driver of the day from last time out in Sportsland Sugo. It was Speed Racer, and if you're watching on YouTube, vote for your Oz and Z Combined driver of the day in the description below. And the stream, by the way, is looking absolutely superb. This is brilliant. Or have I spoken too soon? Because, hold on, this is looking absolutely brilliant. It looks like what I'm seeing on my television screen now. It looks better than what I'm seeing on my television screen. Anyway, right, we're going to be starting the qualifying laps. A few of these guys will start to circulate now. Who's on their flying lap? It looks like Speed Racer's on his flying lap, and he's just navigating the bus stop chicane at the moment. Speed Racer, he did alright to get in 4th place. The grid's sort of been turned on its head. And we should also mention that Dado Racer is joining the field now.
Yeah, that's why I was on him for so long, but you just didn't mention him.
I really should have done, but anyway, that's the situation. So we now have a field of 9 instead of 8 before. Anyway, on board with Speed Racer, and this is a flying lap, and then if he hasn't invalidated it, he should be taking provisional pole position for the feature race. He comes across the line. What's it going to be? It is nothing, because it was invalidated for whatever reason, but
Here we go, we've got
whatever.
Shads,
Oh no,
okay, in the
Shads
wall.
on the wall. That'll be invalidated. Drivers seem to be invalidating a lot, which means that if you can even get... It's not invalidated, despite the fact he plowed into the wall. Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd, I'm not sure if this is an outlap. Actually, in the last qualifying session, he and Triple Rotor goes for a 1:05. Colonel Lloyd invalidated every single lap in the first qualifying session. He comes across the line now. This one isn't invalidated. However, it's not really up to Colonel Lloyd's standards. It's only a 1:07.2. Some of the other guys now coming across the line to set some lap times. However, something tells me they won't be representative. So, Speed Racer, he's on yet another lap, and Highlander is navigating the final corner as well. This might actually put him quite high up the field in the qualifying session, and it does.
There we go.
It puts him up into 3rd position. Speed Racer, if he hasn't invalidated this one, it should be pretty good. He comes across the line. It is a 1:05.9, which is pretty good. That puts him in 3rd position at the present time. However, that probably won't remain the same because Shads comes across the line, and Shads goes into 1st place with a 1:05, almost dead. Triple Rotor Racing comes across the line. Will he go quicker? Yes, he does. He does a 1 minute 5.2. Colonel Lloyd, the only man to make it to the 1 minute 3s this entire weekend. It looks like he's invalidated it. He comes across the line and he goes quicker, and he's actually not invalidated it now, and he goes up in the 4th position. We're running out of time here in the qualifying session. Will anyone actually break the 1 minute 4s or even the 1 minute...
Oh, there you go, Sato, right as you speak.
There's the 1 minute 4s. Will anyone break the 1 minute 3s? Colonel Lloyd the only man to do that so far. However, considering the fact that nobody else has been able to set that, I don't know, maybe he managed to find a clever way to cut some corner. But whatever the case, he still managed to get that in practice. Speed Racer comes across the line, and it's good enough for P4, yeah, exactly. Shad's about to come across the line. Will he go faster than Sato? He doesn't. He goes a tenth slower. And he goes straight back to pit road. I think he's calling that a day. There are a few guys looking like they're on quick laps at the moment. Will Colonel Lloyd be... Will that be any better than 7th place? He comes across the line now. What will it be? It is... good enough for 4th position. Triple Rotor Racing actually just takes that away from him, though. What will it be for Uncrewed Squid? Uncrewed Squid comes across the line, and he... I think a few more guys made it onto their final lap. Highlander, he's about to come across the line to set a time. And I think he might have just invalidated that because he's run right onto the curb.
Well,
However, he comes across the line now.
Away with it there. But no, it's invalidated.
It didn't look like Highlander did. Speed Racer about to cross the line. Will he go any quicker? And yes, he does. It's good enough for 2nd place. Now,
Lloyd,
the last man to consider... And Colonel Lloyd is looking really, really quick at the moment. This
but look
might
how close
be pole
the gaps
position.
are in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. All covered in
Whoa, that's very, very close.
That's like 600ths. So
anyway, we're worried now about pole position.
Oh,
no, that's not going to be pole. Oh man, and that's the end of the. That's a spectacular end of the qualifying session. Sato
if
goes
he at
quickest.
least kept that going, even if he lost a bit of time through the final corner, if he just kept that, that would have been up at least 4 positions. It looked like.
Sato goes into 1st position, followed by Speed Racer, Shads, Uncrewed Squid, Data Racer, Triple Rotor Racing, Colonel Lloyd, Highlander, and Lockie rounds off the field. Fastest time, we have a couple of guys in the 1 minute 4s, with Sato setting a 1 minute 4.1, and Speed Racer setting a 1 minute 4.7. Surprisingly, the Evil Knievels, they're not really doing as well as we've come to expect, and now we are on the grid for the feature race. This is our 2nd race for the night, and well, I think we're both slightly disillusioned that we'd be missing the Russian Grand Prix. However, we do have some awesome Oz and Z action that we're about to bear
I'll
witness
just
to.
take a quick sprint to my to a room to the other side of my house. You know.
No spoilers for the Russian Grand Prix because I'm gonna be watching that on Tuesday.
Don't worry, I won't spoil it.
By the way. No spoilers for the Russian Grand Prix. Anyway, right, so we've got... actually no, Brendan Hartley will win. Brendan, yes. I do like
Shock
Brendan
horror,
Hartley,
Max Verstappen wins driver of the day.
Sebastian Ogier. We have 50 laps ahead of us.
The grave.
Oh gosh, let's not go into that, shall we? Because okay, we've got 50 laps ahead of us. The sprint race was 24, and now we actually have pit stops to take into account. So this should be very, very interesting to bear witness to. If you're enjoying the action and you're watching on YouTube, vote for your Oz and Z combined driver of the day in the description below. It's a Google Forms. It's very, very intuitive. And we will announce the winner of that at the next race. We have a field of 9 for the sprint race, and we're about to get into it. We're syncing up, and the lights will be on in a moment's time. The cars are revving up. We're about to get ready to go racing for a second time tonight. Let's do it to it again at Watkins Glen. Who's gotten the better start here? Speed Racer and Sato look like they're pretty much neck and neck going into turn 1. Will Speed Racer try and hold it around the outside? Sato looks like he's holding the inside and he's gotten away relatively well. However, Speed Racer's still mounting the challenge as we go up through the S's here. However, it's a pretty good getaway from both of them. Meanwhile, Uncrewed Squid looks like he's trying to get into the mix of the front 4 or the front 3 as well. So, all relatively cleanly getting away. However, Sato is under a lot of pressure from Speed Racer at the moment. And Speed Racer, he's going to try go around the outside of Sato. And Colonel Lloyd's in it as well. He tried to go around the outside of Uncrewed Squid. And now, oh my goodness, he almost spun back in front of the rest of the field. But he's avoided everybody. And now he's straight to the back of the field. Xbox, stop listening, please.
Just wants to commentate, you know?
Xbox, stop listening. I'm trying to commentate. There we go. Anyway, right. Everybody except for Colonel Lloyd has gotten away relatively cleanly, and everybody's still relatively close together as well. And Colonel Lloyd riding on board with Highlander. We're still on lap 1, and yeah, we are across the line to start lap 2 now. And it looks like somebody's trying to make a move. It looks like Lockie's going for it on Datto Racer in turn 1. However, he runs wide on exit, and Datto does the switchback and gets back up through into 5th position.
Well, I think something happened
Highlander
had a full rotor as well. Highlander got past.
Oh, and Highlander goes very, very wide through the S's and actually kills Triple Rotor Racing's run a little bit there. Anyway, it looks like Sato, he's starting to pull out a gap at the front. He is at 1 point. Oh, Colonel Lloyd's right in the mix of this battle as well. He actually goes up the inside of, I believe that was Triple Rotor Racing, yes it was. And now it looks like he's having a look at Highlander.
Oh, I think there's a close battle up here as well. Uncrewed Squid.
There is a close battle. The Speed Racer, yeah. Well, it's really holding up here, holding up at the front now. And while Sato's getting away, Uncrewed Squid is very much challenging Speed Racer. Actually, could we keep it locked on that, but on the battle between Uncrewed and Speed Racer? Because that's probably the closest on-track action that we're seeing at the moment, and it is also the battle.
It's about the same gap between Highlander and Lloyd as well.
Alright, we should probably prioritize position though, because there's... Yeah, oh wow, and Colonel Lloyd's just gone up the inside of Highlander. Okay, yeah, you got that at exactly the right moment. I'll eat those words, yeah, exactly. Anyway, who's this on board with? I can't tell.
Uncrewed Squid.
Uncrewed Squid, okay. Oh, alright, yeah, so Uncrewed Squid, he's...
Overview, that's why.
Oh, hold on, and it looks like Shads is under pressure from Datto Racer. He is under a lot of pressure from Datto Racer, actually. Datto Racer is actually right there, and Lockie's in the mix of it as well. Datto Racer, he hasn't seen a lot of supercars action this season, but he's still there, and, well, looks like Lockie's gotten an absolutely tremendous run on Datto Racer. Will he try for a move in the next couple of corners? Lockie did pretty well in race 1. He got himself a podium, which is fantastic for him. It was his first podium of the season. And now he's challenging Datto Racer for 5th place. And if he gets a good run off the final corner, he might try and make a move into turn 1. Datto's run wasn't quite as good. He got a little bit squirmy out of turn 1. Will Lockie try it around the outside? It looks like he looked for the gap that wasn't there. However, they maintain the positions that they've so far stayed in. Oh, and Lockie looks like he's got a bit of a run up the hill on Datto Racer. If he can carry this momentum onto the straight. It looks like he has. He's right all over the back bumper at Datto Racer. Will he try and move into the bus stop chicane? No, he holds station for the time being.
On a rate of knots as well. Lloyd's
he right certainly there. Is. Lloyd is there. If Lockie leaves the gap open, Lloyd will be in there like a rat up a drain pipe. And that is exactly what's happened, because Lockie is run a little bit wide and Colonel Lloyd's capitalized. And it looks like he'll try and go up into, what was that, 6th place? And he does. And now he'll be chasing after Datto Racer.
Here's his pace that he was missing in the first race.
Yes, yeah, the pace has finally come. And it looks like, yeah, he's gotten the run on Datto Racer as well, so he'll be moving up through the field relatively easily. It's like a knife through butter at the moment, actually.
Take a quick moment on board with him.
Yep, we'll ride on board with Colonel Lloyd. I reckon Colonel Lloyd will be a contender for driver of the day. Well, if he does well
Oh,
in
he
this race. Oh,
definitely
and
gets
triple
my
rotor
pick.
race. Oh, Dado.
This race goes well.
Racer ran a bit wide. He ran a bit wide in the S's, and Colonel Lloyd is certainly capitalising off it. Lee tried for a move in the bus stop chicane. There isn't quite enough room. And Dado Racer holds station for the time being. Oh, and Dado Racer in the wall!
He's around. Oh.
Oh, and that will be, actually, can we see trackside? Oh, and yeah, this is going from bad to worse for Dado Racer. Wadey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
now.
sorry, my controller decided to turn off. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, right, Colonel Lloyd, he's made himself, well, because Dado's spinning, he's now up in 5th position.
Oh, I think I see another battle up at the front.
There is another battle at the front.
And Speed Racer.
Yeah, and Uncrewed Squid is right, as you said, right in the mix with Speed Racer, and it looks like he might have a bit of a run coming down the back straight. Now, will his run be better than Speed Racer's? It certainly looks like it's better than Speed Racer's. Oh, and they're very, very close together. There might have even been contact there. Uncrewed Squid looking for a move in the long right-hander. Will his run be better than Speed Racer's on exit? And it looks like it might just be. And meanwhile, there's a battle going on further back.
Lloyd and Shads.
Lloyd and Shads. Lloyd is now moving up into 4th place, and he has done so there. Very, very impressive stuff. Meanwhile, Speed Racer is having to deal with the pressure from Uncrewed Squid at the moment. And all the while, Sato is driving away from Speed Racer at the moment. The gap is 2.6 seconds, and we've seen Sato open up gaps like that. Meanwhile, we should probably cut back to an Uncrewed Squid. I think he might have been quite slow in turn 1, because now the gap's opened up to about a second from Speed Racer, which is a bit more.
Well, it's not really a second, it's still only 6 tenths.
Right, what's going on throughout the field? So,
Not much. There's
not
a few
much.
guys at the back. Dado, Highland.
Dado will be pretty
Very well.
disappointed that he put it in the wall. He was right
Oh,
in the mix.
something's happened to Shads.
Yeah, Shads has been dropping. Oh, and Shads off,
I think he has
off the
damage.
road. Yeah, Shads looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's dealing with something.
Maybe he hit the too hard for the essence.
Yeah, he might have just knocked the steering out of alignment, and these cars, they're hard enough to drive as is, but when they pick up steering damage or suspension damage, or really any damage of any kind, they become absolutely painful to drive, and that might be what Shads is dealing with at the moment.
Close to...
Lloyd has gone from the back of the field to almost on the podium at the moment, and he's actually challenging
Yeah,
Uncrewed Squid for a
was,
podium. Where is this pace coming
He
from?
was 10 seconds behind Sato at one point. He was 10 seconds behind Sato, he's only 4 behind Sato now. He could still be going for a race win.
And he's got the run on Uncrewed Squid coming out of the S's. He's in the slipstream, and it looks like he's going to try it into the bus stop chicane. They're side by side. Who has the bigger genitals? And it looks like Colonel Lloyd does, because he's gone up into 3rd position. And now he's chasing after Speed Racer. What is this race? This is absolutely incredible at the start. Colonel Lloyd has found some pace from nowhere. This is the pace that we saw in the first practice session, well, the only practice session before the sprint race, and now it's coming out in the feature race. And all the while, we still have strategy to take into account.
His fastest lap?
We should have a look at that now. Colonel Lloyd's fastest lap.
104.7.
104.7. Xbox, stop
Only
listening.
104. And he just did another 104.8 on his last lap.
Colonel Lloyd is the fastest
Compared
man
to
on track
the
by
105.9.
far. He's the fastest man on track by far,
Oh, wow.
actually. By far and away the quickest man on track, and it looks like he will be trying to chase after 2nd place at the moment. Because he's right in the slipstream of Speed Racer. And it looks like... And I can't believe on the last lap I actually asked who's got the bigger genitals. The Speed Racer gets very sideways on the exit of the bus stop chicane. And all the while this is giving Colonel Lloyd opportunities to close the gap and potentially get past Speed Racer. He's definitely in the slipstream, and a pass is definitely going to be on the cards in the next couple of corners. Colonel Lloyd follows Speed Racer through the final 2 turns How's his run going to be onto the start-finish straight? It looks like it's pretty good. Will he try and move into turn 1, or is he too far back? And I think he's made the best decision to say that he is too far back to make a move, but I reckon in the next couple of laps, Colonel Lloyd will most certainly go for it. We're on lap 10, a lap 50. Oh, and Colonel Lloyd, he was exploiting a little bit too much of the curb there. But meanwhile, look at this run he's got on Speed Racer. Look at the run he's got on Speed Racer. The slipstream is being used to absolutely stupendous effect. And Colonel Lloyd is most certainly quicker than Speed Racer through the bus stop chicane.
Well, I think Lockie and Shads are now within a second of each other. So they might be getting into a battle quite soon.
But meanwhile, the gap is 2/10 between Speed Racer and Colonel Lloyd at the moment. Actually, could we look at that? This is probably the closest...
Don't worry, I got you, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is the closest battle we're seeing on track at the moment. How will Colonel Lloyd's run be on the start-finish straight compared to Speed Racer's? He's definitely within striking distance this time by... Will he try for a lunge in turn 1? No, he keeps it relatively sensible and sticks behind the back bumper of Speed Racer for the time being. And Speed Racer very loose on exit to turn 1, which is going to give Colonel Lloyd the run up the hill, and he might even try a move into the bus stop chicane like he did on, I believe it was Uncrewed Squid a few laps ago. He looks like he's using the slipstream
What I'm
once
looking
again.
at is they're both actually catching Sado in front. The gap was 2.5 a few laps ago.
It might be that they're actually using the slipstream to work together to actually catch up to Sado, which will be very interesting to see how this plays out. Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd ran a little bit wide there. He's kept on the road though. And Colonel Lloyd, he's still just sitting behind Speed Racer. Speed Racer's dealing with the pressure relatively well, bar a few mistakes. Now, coming on to the start-finish straight again, does Colonel Lloyd think he's in striking distance this time by... He looks a little bit too far back to make a move into turn 1. And as we thought, he doesn't try it. He's just sitting in behind Speed Racer. This will definitely be something we need to watch and see how it plays out. Up through the S's again. Oh, Speed Racer! He got squirmy through the S's, and Colonel Lloyd is taking advantage. And Colonel Lloyd just breezes by as Dado Racer comes to pit road. Colonel Lloyd covers the line off into the bus stop chicane, and he's gone from effectively, well, the back of the field up into second place, and is actually closing the gap to Sado. The gap is only 1.7 seconds now, down from about 2 seconds that it was before. So that'll probably be something we see play out towards the end of the race. Dado was the first on the pit road, but that again, that he did have damage to deal with, so that is to be expected.
Shads has dropped back from Walkie again.
And there's Uncrewed Squid, 4th position. Uncrewed Squid goes faster than his fastest lap so far, but he's all the way down in 4th at the moment. And I think, oh, and yep, there's Dado rejoining the track.
Dado.
Yeah, he's rejoining the track. Dado, he had a, oh, he's getting in the way of Uncrewed Squid here. He'll be looking for a way to let him by. And he does. Well, he will be letting him by. He just pulls over. And he's through. Now, Lockie, he did very, very well in the first race to get second place. He might even be someone we interview towards the end, well, towards the end of the stream, because he's done very, very well tonight, and it will be good if he can get himself a 5th place. Pretty strong finish in the midfield. And the gap is closing between Colonel Lloyd and Sado at the moment. The gap is now down to 1.3 seconds, which was down from 1.7 only a couple of laps ago.
And then a few laps before that, it was over
2 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Only lap 14 of lap 50. There's still plenty of time for Colonel Lloyd to catch Sado at the front. And we of course have to take pit stops into account as well. And it looks like, yeah, Colonel Lloyd, he's in the same camera shot as Sado at the moment. And the gaps just dropped below a second there briefly. So Sato is dropping off the pace.
I think we have a battle here.
Meanwhile, Shads is
and Lockie.
and actually, the gap between Sato and Lloyd is teetering into 8/10. So, I think Sato might have made a mistake, because the gap's just closed significant. It's closed like
I think he's just went too fast on the server race, overheated his tires.
He might have done that.
Now.
And we are still very, very far away from the pit stop, because usually these guys like to pit around halfway, and the gap's 3/10 at the front. Sato is making mistakes, or Colonel Lloyd is just on it right now, and I think he is, because Colonel Lloyd sniffs a win here. He knows he's quick around here, so can he be the 4th driver in 2019 to take victory? Meanwhile, Shads is looking at Lockie at the moment, and will most likely make a move in the near future. Meanwhile, battle's close at the front. Colonel Lloyd taking advantage of the slipstream from Sato in front of him. The gap is dropped to 3/10 of a second, down from about 2 seconds, only mere laps ago. Shads looks like well, he's about to clear Lockie anyway, but here's the battle at the front. Colonel Lloyd, he's got the run on Sato, and he does. Yeah, there he is.
Got past Lockie.
Shads, oh yep, Shads has gotten past Lockie, very, very nicely pointed out. So Shad's starting to make his way
I'll
up
try and
the
go back
field
again,
again.
but you couldn't see very well.
No, and I think this is where we want to see it right now, because it's the battle for the lead, and it is very, very close. Just starting lap 16 of 50. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out through the course of the race. And I think Colonel Lloyd will probably have won my vote for driver of the day, because he's done absolutely brilliantly. Yeah, he's done brilliantly to come back to the field. However, you might think Lockie is the driver of the day, because he managed to score a podium. He's not had the greatest season so far. Oh, and Sato running onto the grass there. That'll cost him time, which is time loss that Colonel Lloyd can exploit. Now, coming into the NASCAR section of the track, this is an opportunity for Colonel Lloyd to exploit some slipstream. Gap sitting around half a second now, and it looks like Colonel Lloyd's had a pretty good run into the final couple of corners. Almost within striking distance of Sato. It'll probably be a pass in the not too distant future. Colonel Lloyd, oh, and Sato getting very, very loose into turn 1.
Right.
This will open up the door. This will open up the door for Colonel Lloyd, and he's got the run up coming through the S's, and he's a lot quicker than Sato through here, and he'll have the run coming onto the back straight. Will he try a move into the bus stop chicane? He's got the benefit of slipstream now. Will he pull to the inside? Will he try something brave? Not this time by. However, he's certainly looking a little bit quicker than Sato at the moment. Sato starting to crack under the pressure of Colonel Lloyd. Someone who we haven't seen a lot of this year is now coming to the forefront at Watkins Glen. If he can carry this momentum into the last couple of races, we might even see him on the top step of the podium at Bathurst. Perhaps. We don't really know with these things. Or with Sato looking a little bit wide through the final corner. And all Colonel Lloyd has to do is just sit there and wait for Sato to make a mistake.
And we might be starting to get into pit stops quite soon as well.
I reckon we're only on lap 18 of 50. So we're a bit far away from it. We are reaching her. Oh, and Colonel Lloyd has an absolutely tremendous run on Sato at the moment. This is for the lead. Colonel Lloyd takes it, but they're side by side into the bus stop chicane, and Colonel Lloyd is the inside line, and he makes it work. He's up into the lead of the race. However, he'll still have Sato for company, so we'll have to see if Colonel Lloyd is able to pull away. But Colonel Lloyd is your new leader.
Lockie has closed back up on Shads.
He certainly has.
Oh. Never mind. Made a bit of a mistake there.
He did make a mistake, yeah, exactly. So,
back in contest cars.
Yeah.
As soon as we look at a car, it makes a mistake.
Well, Lockie has fallen victim to the commentator's curse pretty much throughout the entire year. Not even just in the supercars, but just throughout the OzNZ calendar in general. I remember he fell victim to it a couple of times during the Intercontinental GT Championship. Meanwhile, though, Sato looks like he might have a bit of a run on Colonel Lloyd. Will Sato be able to retake the lead of the race? And he almost went into the wall there, so that won't help his case. Colonel Lloyd starting to pull out the gap. It's about 6/10 now. But if Sato can stay there, the win for Sato again, if he could sweep the weekend, that would be absolutely incredible. I don't think anyone has swept the weekend so far. I might just have to check that stat. The only other driver to sweep a weekend was Uncrewed Squid, who swept the weekend at Fuji Speedway. So it would be absolutely incredible if Sato can sweep a weekend. However, Colonel Lloyd is making that task significantly harder. And starting lap 20 of 50, so as you said, will probably be, as soon as we hit lap 25 or just before lap 25, we'll see people come in for pit stops. However, what I will expect to see... Oh, and Lockie's first to blink. Lockie's first to blink. So, I was going to say, Triple Rotor Racing will probably do the opposite of what Lockie's doing now and go further than everybody else, try and pull out a gap and see where he comes out. That same strategy has worked twice on Speed Racer. However, he's not anywhere near Speed Racer this time, so we'll have to see who else it works for. Because usually what happens is he extends the tyre life, comes in, and then has fresher tyres towards the end and has made the overcut work. And it's one of the most incredible things that we've seen from Triple Rotor Racing this season. Anyway, Colonel Lloyd has been able to pull out the gap to 1.7 seconds over Sato. And Speed Racer is 7 seconds adrift of... Oh, and Sato comes to pit road. Meanwhile, Data Racer is keeping Shads at bay, and Sato, yep, there he is. He's on pit road. This might be a very significant strategy call. The tyres are done, fuel is going in. Will he have any damage to repair? The fuel rig is still in the side of that car. He's dropping to 6th position. However, a few other guys still owe us a pit stop. And he is putting a lot of fuel into that car. It's a pretty lengthy stop, actually, for Sato. And he's away. There he is. He's about to begin circulating again. Colonel Lloyd currently in the lead of the race. However, pretty much everybody ahead of Sato owes us a pit stop. So, Lockie, Dado and Sato, they've all pit. And the rest of the drivers in the field haven't. We'll all be watching this man, though, to see when he comes in. The pit stops, they are quite lengthy here. Well, they're quite lengthy anywhere. Probably less lengthy here than anywhere else, but, I mean, it looks like some of these guys are taking on a lot of fuel, so a pit stop is pretty costly. So, we'll have to see how everybody fares after the pit stops. We're on lap 22 now, approaching the halfway point. Expecting Triple Rotor Racing to go a bit further than everybody else does. However, we'll be expecting people to start making, well, more people to start making their pit stops now. Colonel Lloyd, meanwhile, is extending his gap at the front of the field. It's 9 seconds between him and Speed Racer at the moment. And Shads, this is Dado ahead of him. Dado, of course, crashed near the start of the race, which is really unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd, your current leader, is about to come up to lap Lockie by the looks of things. But whatever the case. Uncrewed Squid, he's chasing after Speed Racer at the moment, and the gap is just over a second, so I'd say watch that space. Colonel Lloyd closing in on Speed Racer. Oh, and Shads comes into the pit lane, so he's the first of the two Evil Knievils to blink. As we said, lap 23 of 50, so almost the halfway point, and as we said before, more people will be pitting around now. So, Shads, he's about to get jumped by Sado by the looks of things. I don't think Shads will get out ahead of Sado, because I think he's still in his pit box. Actually, yes he is. So, Sado goes up in 6th place for the time being. However, so we will probably be watching out for the leading 5 at the moment. It looks like Colonel Lloyd's about to come round to lap Lockie at the moment. And he's about to lap Shads as well.
Lockie got past Shads.
Oh, it looks like, wow. That's pretty... well, did Lockie come in? Oh yeah, Lockie did come in, so that is the position.
Lockie did the undercut.
Lockie did the undercut, anyway. Yes, oh, and Uncrid Squid, Speed Racer went wide. And Uncrid Squid looks like he's going to go up into the 2nd place, sorry. They're still side by side with the S's, however, looks like Uncrid Squid has made it work, and he's up in 2nd position. So, Speed Racer losing a couple of spots, however, these guys all still owe us pit stops. So, we need to take that into account. Who will have the better strategy? Maybe we might even see Triple Rotor Racing being factored once again into this race, because he has a habit of going long, as we explained before, and it usually works. Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd still the lead of the race, and he's actually coming round to lap Shads. Who would have thought that Shads would be lapped this season? I certainly didn't think so.
Especially without a crash.
Without a crash, yeah, no.
Oh, that's someone in. I think that's Speed Racer.
That's Speed Racer in. This is critical. Speed Racer's been in the mix for the podium all day. And there's Triple Rotor Racing. This will also be crucial because we've seen twice this happen before. Triple Rotor Racing goes longer than Speed Racer on his tyres and then comes in later. And then as Speed Racer's car starts to drop off the cliff, Triple Rotor Racing comes back and finishes on the podium. So, will we see this play out for a 3rd time here at Watkins Glen? And there's another pit crew getting ready. Highlander just comes in as well. I just saw the pit crew getting ready. Sado goes past. Sado up into 4th place again.
But the real question is, where will Lockie come out compared to Speed Racer?
It looks like Lockie's going to beat them both. Lockie's going to get 5th. That's awesome for Lockie. He made the undercut work, so that was a pretty...
Speed Racer's been lapped.
Speed Racer is a lap down. You're right. So...
he went from being P2 2 laps later to being a lap down.
Highlander now in 9th, Dado up into 8th position. So, Lockie pitting early has, well, it's worked for him in the short term. He's up in the 5th position. However, what we need to see how play out is, will his car fade? Will his tyres fade? And will they last till the end of the race? And, oh, and Colonel Lloyd going a bit off the track at the moment.
The real question in pits, where will he come out? Because he'll be near Speed Racer. Or even behind.
Yeah, so none of the front two...
so that would mean Lockie's up into a P3, effectively.
Yeah, if Lockie could get a second well, he does... oh, okay, that was a bit of lag there, but... yeah, it was a... yeah. So, Lockie, I mean, we actually have to see... oh, and Uncrid Squid in. Man in 2nd place is currently in. And Triple Rotor Racing, as we expected, going a little bit longer than everybody else. And he's... well, this will be interesting to see how these two cycle out. So Triple Rotor Racing will get 3rd at best coming out. Lockie is in the final sector of the track. Will he beat Triple Rotor Racing out of the pit lane? I think he will. And what's really surprising at the moment is that 5th place is being lapped. Mind you, the leader has not made a pit stop yet. So...
and it doesn't look like he's making one this lap either.
oh, yes, he is.
He's in.
And Triple Rotor Racing, he's been done by Uncrid Squid, but he gets out ahead. Oh, no, he doesn't. Lockie beats him, and Lockie goes up into 3rd position. Triple Rotor Racing, where will he
And
cycle
Speed
out?
Racer.
Speed Racer, he's...
Speed Racer and Uncrewed Squid.
They're racing on exit. Speed Racer...
Speed Racer's on warmer tyres.
Yes, he is. And it looks like he might have a better run than Uncrewed Squid coming onto the back straight as well. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. And Colonel Lloyd, he's come in. And I think he will probably get out ahead of Sato. And, yeah, he's maintained the lead.
Whole front straight as well.
Wow, that strategy call actually worked really well for him. Because now he's got like a...
And on fresher tyres as well.
He's got a 12-second gap.
Just keep pulling.
He's pulled out a huge gap to Sato after the pit stops. Lockie's in third, so he's one of the biggest winners from this as well. However, now Shads is chasing after Lockie as well. Speed Racer is now pressuring Uncrewed Squid. It's been very interesting to see how the strategy
I might
played
just jump
out.
out in a second to see the start of the Russian Grand Prix.
Right, okay. Well, this might make the situation interesting.
I'll leave it on probably this battle because it's closest, and it's team 1 currently.
Right, for Uncrewed, oh yeah, Uncrewed Squid and Speed Racer are pretty close. Yep, okay, that makes sense. Right.
Well, I can stay for a bit longer. Yeah, it starts 5 minutes still.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they're currently starting their formations. So.
Yeah, anyway, Speed Racer, he is in 6th place, he's chasing after Uncrewed Squid. These two...
Triple Rotor's just in the background as well.
Triple Rotor Racing, he's in 7th. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the... Well, actually, we might see this play out. So, Speed Racer will be on older tyres than Triple Rotor Racing. So, if Speed Racer starts to wear out his tyres...
Oh,
no, Speed Racer came in before Triple.
Hit the same lap as...
Yes. So, if Speed Racer starts to wear out his tyres, Triple Rotor Racing, he's on the newer tyres. So we might see this scenario of Triple beating out Speed Racer with these long run strategies, these long run first stints. We've seen it play out 3 times, and it might be set to play out again. Here's Highlander.
Here, Lloyd about to lap Highlander.
Yeah. Anyway, the gap's pretty close between Lockie and Shads at the moment.
Yeah, I was about to switch over.
Shads, he's just closing in on Lockie. And I'm not sure how long that battle will last if these two manage to get close to each other. But Lockie is doing very, very well in 3rd position.
Well, Lockie's on older tyres than pretty much everyone else, so...
Yeah, see, this is what we sort of talked about. I mean, it worked short term to get him onto the podium, but will it work in the long term? And now we're seeing Shads, he's got a run.
Would you prefer to stay on the Lockie Shads battle or the Speed Racer battle?
Well, the thing is though, I reckon the Squid and Speed Racer battle will probably last longer than this will, because Lockie, yeah, he's just run a little bit wide. Oh, and Colonel Lloyd, he's in again. Colonel Lloyd's in the pits again. Can we have a look at that?
Oh, he is.
Why has he come in?
He might... Well, he did have that 12-second gap ahead of Sato. He might have forgotten to put fuel in the car.
Well, it's just cost him the lead.
And he
Colonel
didn't
Lloyd,
look to, like, change tyres or... He didn't... I don't even think he changed tyres or put too much fuel in.
Or even splash and dash. Meanwhile, Shads looks like he's going to try and move on Lockie into turn 1. And, oh, they're side by side, and Colonel Lloyd's in the mix of this as well. There's a lot of different battles happening here.
Or I might just head off for a quick minute, and I guess I'll leave it on the Shads, and we'll see how this turns out.
Yes. So, Shads has got a run on Colonel Lloyd.
5 to 10 minutes.
Alright then. So, this is the battle we're seeing now. It's a battle for... Oh, and Colonel Lloyd goes off. This is the battle for 2nd place at the moment. However, there are a few other guys in the mix of this as well. Lockie's in it too, and... Yeah, Lockie's in this battle as well. And Shads is chasing after Colonel Lloyd, who has lost out hugely because he had to make another pit stop.
Yeah, never mind. I've got a few more minutes.
Okay,
starts at 5 past, not the actual
that's
race.
good. And Colonel Lloyd is slow off the final corner, which means that Shads is going to have a look into turn 1. Who is quicker into turn 1? Shads looks inside. Will he get the move done on Colonel Lloyd? They're side by side. And it looks like, oh, Colonel Lloyd slow off the first corner. And Shads is going to get him up the hill.
And don't forget, Uncrewed Squid and Speed Race aren't too far back.
Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd's third might not even be safe for third anyway, because now Lockie's got to run on him as well. Coming down the back stretch.
And Sato has 15 seconds now back to this Jaguar of cars.
Yeah, it was pretty
Might be
disastrous for
taking
Colonel
trouble.
Lloyd to not take fuel and then make another pit stop. It's not what he would have wanted. However, that means that Sato will probably be able, if it stays as is, will probably be able to sweep the weekend. Anyway, coming into the final sector, lap 32. Sato has already started lap 33, and he will have started lap 33 16 seconds earlier than most of these guys. Meanwhile, it looks like Lockie has a run on Colonel Lloyd. Will he try one into turn 1? It will be from a little bit further back. And it looks like he has a look. They're side by side. And there might have been contact there, but how will Lockie's run off the corner be compared to Colonel Lloyd's? He might have a run coming down the start, or the back straight.
That's contact.
Yeah, there might have been contact from before.
Just the wall. We didn't know Lockie went hard.
Which means he might have dropped, yeah, he's dropped off the back of Colonel Lloyd a little bit there.
We have the lap car Dado being mixed as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he's holding up Uncrewed Squid. Now these guys will be looking to get to Lockie, and that means...
Is that him flashing red lights, Jack?
Yeah, probably. These cars, of course, do actually have headlights. And I think the top 3 actually have a penalty. Can we see the timings?
Yes, you may.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Sato has a 2-second penalty, but that's not going to matter. Shads has a 1-second penalty, but that won't matter because Colonel Lloyd has a 4-second penalty, which will actually put him behind Speed Racer, which is huge.
I might head off. 3 seconds.
Alright, you want to close the timing?
Who would you like to focus on?
I'd like to focus on this for the time being because Uncrewed Squid is under a massive amounts of pressure
Would you
from Speed
prefer
Racer.
Uncrewed Squid or...
Leave it on Uncrewed Squid, actually, yeah.
You want Squid or...
Yeah, I'll leave it on Squid, yeah. Right, so Wadey will be returning... Alright, Wadey will be back in 10 minutes. And no spoilers for the Russian Grand Prix here. So, here we are. Lap 34 of 50 at the moment. And Uncrewed Squid currently ahead of Speed Racer, however, not under quite a significant amount of pressure from him. And it looks like Speed Racer got a bit of a better run than Uncrewed Squid out of turn 1. How will his run be up through the S's? Will Speed Racer be able to get by on the straight? Looks like Speed Racer, he's definitely quicker than Uncrewed Squid. Uncrewed trying to break the draft. And holds 4th for the time being. And actually pulls a little bit away from Speed Racer for the time being. Gap still within a second. And Uncrewed Squid coming around the final corner and beginning to pull a little bit away from Speed Racer. Meanwhile, Shads and Colonel Lloyd are within a second of each other, up in second position. Well, yeah, just around a second actually. Uncrewed Squid still just ahead of Speed Racer. Now Speed Racer will have the benefit of the slipstream coming down the back straight, and we'll use that to close the gap on Uncrewed Squid. How will they negotiate the bus stop chicane? Looks like Speed Racer probably did it a little bit better than Uncrewed Squid. And coming into the final sector of the track, you'll see Dado in the background there, or Triple Rudder Racing. I can't quite tell which one of the Illuminati Kermit cars that actually is. I heard somebody scrape the wall just then, but I don't quite know who that was. So Uncrewed Squid currently leading the midfield at the moment. Gap's about a second between, well, just under a second between Speed Racer and himself. And it looks like they're pretty much going blow for blow. The Evel Knievels, they haven't performed particularly well here at Watkins Glen. Neither of them have been able to get themselves a podium. None of them got a podium in the feature race, sorry, sprint race, and it doesn't look like either of them are, oh well, Shads might get a podium in the feature race, but Uncrewed Squid, he's looking a little bit far away from a podium at the moment. And we have started lap 38, so we are running we're kind of running out of laps here. Only about 12 to go. Might be 12 to go next time by, yeah, I think, yes, it will be 12 to go next time by. Anyway, Uncrewed Squid, he's still got Speed Racer for company, and Speed Racer will now be using the slipstream to, and I think, yeah, I should also point out at some point Shad's got by Colonel Lloyd. I'm not sure if Colonel Lloyd was in second place before. No, actually, no, I think Shad's been in front of Colonel Lloyd for a while now. Anyway, Uncrewed Squid still ahead of Speed Racer. Speed Racer with a bit of a run off the sweeping right-hander. He's certainly, well, he's sitting definitely within a second. And Speed Racer, so the gap coming onto the start-finish straight. Oh, and we have a director back. Hello, Wadey.
Yeah. They just began formation, so got 1 or 2 minutes.
Right, excellent. Okay, so on board with Speed Racer, still chasing down Uncrewed Squid. And we're on lap 39 of 50, so we'll be coming soon to start 10 to go within a couple of laps. And it looks like Sado is going to sweep the weekend if nothing happens to him. I'm sure he'll be hoping to do so. He'll only be the second driver in 2019 to sweep a weekend, Uncrewed Squid being the first, and he did that at Fuji Speedway. Now, it looks like Speed Racer, he's got a bit of a run on Uncrewed Squid. Yeah, he's definitely looking a bit quicker than him coming onto the start-finish straight. The gap's within half a second. He was almost within striking distance, but he didn't make it in turn 1. However, it looks like he'll have a better run than Uncrewed Squid coming up the hill. Speed Racer, will he gain on Uncrewed through the S's? It looks like he just does. And how will the slipstream come into play in this situation? Looks like Uncrewed Squid's car is a pretty quick one in a straight line. Speed Racer didn't actually gain that much time coming down the straight, so he's done well. Well, Squid has done well to set up that car. The gap is now just over 3/10 of a second between Speed Racer and Uncrewed. coming into the final sector of the track. Speed Racer, if he could stay in this sort of area, in this sort of gap, coming onto the start-finish straight, will definitely be within striking distance going into turn 1. It'll be a difficult one.
Again. You want me to stay on Speed Racer?
Yeah, you may as well,
Come here
actually.
to switch to Squid.
Yeah, just stay on Speed Racer for the time being.
Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes. Hopefully for a final time this time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we have started with 10 laps to go now. Speed Racer is beginning to run out of laps to get by Uncrewed Squid. And well, Speed Racer's actually gone quicker than his fastest lap in, I believe that was either Sector 2 or Sector 1. But regardless, he's going quicker than he has done previously. I'm not sure, excuse me, the same could be, excuse me, said, but for Uncrewed Squid. Coming into the final sector of the track once again. And the gap is very, very small between these two at the moment. Only a couple of tenths of a second at most. Maybe around 4 tenths of a second. Speed Racer is not within striking distance, but if Uncrewed gets a slow run of turn 1 and Speed Racer gets a fast one, a pass will certainly be on the cards. Speed Racer getting a little bit loose out of turn 1. Still chasing after Uncrewed Squid. The gap is about, well, it's around a second now. But Speed Racer is still definitely there. It's still close enough to take advantage of the slipstream. And still looking to get by Uncrewed Squid for 4th place. Now, well, these two, they're 1st and 2nd in the championship. So Speed Racer will definitely want to get by Uncrewed Squid. Mind you, though, if we think about this, Sado might be able to move up into into maybe 3rd in the championship if Shads moves down to 4th. So the championship might actually be getting very interesting going into the final 2 rounds at Zolder and at Bathurst. Can't wait to see how that plays out. We're on lap 43 of 50. As we have, well, yes, here we go. Is Sado on screen at the moment?
Well, yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Let's just say it was an interesting start.
It was an interesting start. The strategy, well, like with most of these races, has played a significant part in the race. Particularly for Sado, actually, it's benefited him a lot because Colonel Lloyd, he had a 15-second gap coming out of the pit lane after his pit stop, but looked like he forgot to put fuel in, which meant that Sado went into the lead, and it's looking like he's going to be the 2nd person of the season to sweep the weekend. Now, with that considered, he may be a contender for driver of the day, because Colonel Lloyd's made a bit of a screw up in the strategy. Meanwhile, Triple Rotor Racing looks like he's about to be in the mix with Speed Racer. Speed Racer's dropped a little bit off Uncrewed Squid, which has put him into the clutches of Triple Rotor. They're both within a second of each other now, and it is very, very close between these two. It's less than a second, significantly less than that. It's about 3/10 of a second. And Triple Rotor Racing, he's definitely close enough to take advantage of the slipstream coming down the back straight. Will he try it? Well, he's not close enough to try and move into the bus stop chicane. You have to be much closer than that if you're going to do that, but he's certainly gaining on Speed Racer, and this is the very thing we spoke of. He's about to make this overcut strategy work for a 3rd time, and it will work on Speed Racer once again. It is magic. It's sort of magic, isn't it? Because Triple Rotor Racing is about to capitalize again, because he's within a he's well within a second of Speed Racer. Speed Racer gets up onto the curve into the second to last corner, which will cost him time. Triple Rotor Racing, he gets the run out of the final corner, and he might be within striking distance of Speed Racer into turn 1. Will he pull inside? It looks like he's keeping it relatively sensible for the time being, and he slots still in behind Speed Racer. Meanwhile, Uncrewed Squid is caught up to the back of Colonel Lloyd. just as Colonel Lloyd cuts across the grass there on through the S's. There's two very, very close battles going on at the moment. And, well, Triple Rotor Racing is right with Speed Racer at the moment. And Uncrewed Squid is right with Shads at the moment. So, it's the battles for 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th, respectively. Oh, can we cut to Uncrewed and Lloyd, Wadey?
Yes, we may.
Because that battle is very, very close. Shads is actually almost pushing Colonel Lloyd through the final corner. Sorry, Uncrewed Squid, yep, he pulls inside of Colonel Lloyd and will make a move into turn 1. They're side by side. Will Colonel Lloyd be able to hold it around the outside of Uncrewed Squid? Uncrewed down the inside. Will he run wide? Oh, and Colonel Lloyd's around! Oh, and Colonel Lloyd, it's going from bad to worse for Colonel Lloyd. He used too much of the curb and it got him turned. Colonel Lloyd down to 6th, and it might not be safe for 6th either, because Lockie might be getting involved with this very, very soon. Lockie doesn't look like he's had the easiest of races. His car's looking a little bit trashed. But that means Uncrewed Squid is up to 3rd, Speed Racer is up to 4th, and Triple Rotor Racing is up to 5th position. And Colonel Lloyd, he's just dropped pretty much, well, he's dropped 3 positions in 1 corner, basically, because of that. It's easy to make that mistake. I remember in the IndyCar race earlier in the year, in the Oz and Z IndyCar Championship, I think a few people got caught out by turn 1. Several people got caught out by turn 1. Looks like it's happening again. Colonel Lloyd, somebody who was leading the race before, is now all the way down in 6th. Triple Rotor Racing, meanwhile, is closing on Speed Racer, who is on all the tyres. And Triple Rotor Racing has made this strategy work twice before, and it looks like he's about to make it work again, because he's gotten the run on Speed Racer. He's side by side with Speed Racer, and it looks like he'll have the position going into the bus stop chicane. Triple Rotor Racing goes through on Speed Racer. But it looks like Speed Racer looks like he's coming back. Triple Rotor Racing has to defend his line to the sweeping right-hander. Will Speed Racer have a better run than Triple Rotor off the corner? And it looks like he's had a pretty good run, to say the least. He's coming back at Triple Rotor Racing, coming into the final sector. He's almost pushing him through the corners. Looks like Speed Racer, he's definitely very, very, very close to Triple. And he might even be within... We might even be close enough to make a move into turn 1. If he sends it, he can do it. We're on lap 48 of 50. If Speed Racer's going to do it, he's running out of laps. Meanwhile, Sato, with a 16-second gap, looks like he'll be about to sweep the weekend. We're on lap 48 of 50. And Shads is running out of time to catch up to Sato. And it'll be very, very good for Sato's championship campaign.
And Lloyd, contact for Wall.
Contact for Lloyd. It's not going well for Colonel Lloyd. It'll be Sato's 3rd win in 2 weeks, which would be absolutely incredible for him. It'll be his 4th win of the season as well. There he is. He started lap 49. Comfortable lead over everybody else. All he's got to do is keep it clean. He'll probably dial it back a little bit now. I don't think he'll be pushing particularly hard. He's only got pretty much a couple more corners to navigate at this point. Meanwhile, Colonel Lloyd
has been overtaken.
Lloyd's been overtaken by Lockie. Oh, and he was a bit sideways in turn 1. So it's going from bad to worse for Colonel Lloyd. Sato, meanwhile, looks like he is about to start lap... Wait, where is Sato actually on track? Sato has started lap 50.
Guys.
The white flag is out this time by... it looks like if Sato can hold on for just one more lap, he doesn't have to push at all. He could just cruise home to victory at this point. It looks like
the ultimate corner now you've said that.
He might just, and he'll see this afterwards and say, your commentator's curse. But regardless, Sato has done an absolutely superb job. And it looks like Triple Rotor Racing will secure 4th place for the time being. It's the final lap of the race, and Sato looks like he's just about to enter the final sector of the track. We'll just ride with Sato at the moment because he's about to come round the final corner for the second to last corner, and now the final corner for Team Mondelez. Sato will take his 4th win of the season and sweep the weekend. It's Sato who comes across the line to take victory at Watkins Glen, and that'll be a fantastic haul of points. Meanwhile, Shads, he's about to bring it home in 2nd place, although it might not be safe for 2nd place, but he's just rounding the final corner, and Shads, he's going to do it.
Well.
He's got a penalty to factor in.
1 second.
He's got 1 second. This is going to be close. Has Uncrewed beaten him? I can't quite tell. The race is over, and Shads has got him by the looks of things. Shads has beaten Uncrewed Squid, and Triple Rotor Racing comes home in a very respectable 4th place. Speed Racer brings it home in 5th. Lockie comes home in 6th, and Colonel Lloyd, after a very difficult race, has brought it home in 7th position. Now, who do we want to interview?
Do you mind?
First of all, can you make the party
solo?
Can you make the party joinable though, so I can invite them? Yeah. So Sato will probably be coming in. He said he wanted to. I said to Sato he has to do something either remarkable or stupid in this race to make the post-race interviews, and he's done something remarkable because he swept the weekend.
Well,
so it's
mind
Sato.
if I head off now?
Yeah, you can leave now. You're legally allowed to leave. Yeah, that's fine. Sato has taken the victory.
He's kept me here in his basement for so long. Please help me.
Yes, you can leave. Goodbye, Wadey. Alright, Sato's taken the victory, followed by Shads, Uncrewed Squid, Triple Rotor Racing, Speed Racer, Lockie, Colonel Lloyd, Highlander, and Dado rounds off the field. And that was amazing from Sato and Shads. And the party is now joinable, so that's good. And that rounds off the race. Now I have to decide who I want for post-race interviews. Decisions. I've got no one else because my basement dweller's cleared off, which is rather annoying. We might have Colonel Lloyd Sato, and by the way, we should point out Colonel Lloyd set the fastest lap of the race by far. Who do we want? I'm trying to decide. Colonel Lloyd Sato. And there's the man we expected to join the party anyway. Sato, I said before we started the broadcast, well, the first broadcast of the night, that you would have to do something either stupid or remarkable to make the post-race interviews, and you've done something remarkable. You've swept the weekend. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, definitely a shock, considering I was practicing with Colonel Lloyd
earlier today, and he was consistently a second and a half a lap faster than me. So he had a few issues
in qualifying for race 1, and then race 2 his pit crew decided
they didn't have any tyres left, so that gifted me the second race win, which I'm happy with. It's something I've never done before.
So, considering that you've taken 3 wins in 2 weeks, and it's actually your 4th win of the season, are you thinking that maybe the championship might be on the cards again? You're too far behind.
to challenge for the championship. I'm just
Race one's trying to see if you can win.
So are you going after Bathurst now then?
well, I got older first, and then
I think of it Bathurst afterwards.
Alright, thank you very much, Sado. Colonel Lloyd, what on earth happened?
Car was running awesome. Second race, not so much the first one, but went to do my pit stop around lap 26, 27, and the pit crew didn't want to change my tyres.
Well, you still had pretty incredible pace, so is this a sign of things to come if you can actually will have tyres in your next pit stop?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
We'll have to wait and see. May as well get, well, we should probably get Shads in here, why not? I'll see if he joins. Has Lockie gone offline? Because I want to talk to him about his first podium of the season. He must be pretty happy with that.
No,
He's still online. Or has he just blocked me? I don't know. I don't know, he might have done. There's Shads. Shads, you did well to gain second place and to hold on to that. You must be. Are you pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I am happy after the last few races I've had. It's nice to have a decent result.
He's Lockie.
Yeah, the car was handling well, so it was just disappointing I couldn't get closer to the front early in the race and get some clear air because the car was pretty good.
Do you think you might be able to pick? Well, you haven't actually won this year, which is slightly surprising. Do you think you'll be able to pick up a win at either Zolder or Bathurst?
Oh, I hope so. No guarantees.
No guarantee.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think Sado and Squid have been in better form than what I have. They deserve the wins they've had. I'm not that great in the V8, but yeah, just haven't had too much luck. I thought I could have had a win maybe at Long Beach, and there's one other race I thought I had a chance, but no, just haven't had any luck this season.
And okay, then we'll talk to our final driver of the post-race interviews. Lockie, you've picked up your first podium of the season. You must. Well, where have you found the pace for Long Beach? Well, not Long Beach. Watkins Glen. What am I saying?
Watkins Glen.
Yes, wrong track.
Always clicked with the circuit. Every game I've played with Watkins Glen, I've just clicked with the circuit. So I think it was just a case of I got into a groove and got away with it. It's very hard to overtake at Watkins Glen. I think qualifying on the front row definitely helped in that first race, and it was even more noticeable because I unfortunately started the second race from the back of the grid, but it was definitely very difficult to get through, and I actually ended up getting stuck in about 6th place before I pitted early in that second race. But
Anyway, so it was a bit of a gamble to go on to make your pit stop so early in the second race. I mean, were you struggling with tyre wear towards the end, or was that not an
no,
issue?
that was the plan from the start. I'd always planned to come in around lap 20, 21. I came in a few laps early purely because I was stuck in the dirty air, but had I not made a mistake under braking into turn 1, I definitely think it would have been close to a podium chance.
Well then, okay, I think that probably concludes our post-race interviews for the round at Long Beach. I've been Gear 3 Gaming, and joining me on the white mic today has been me, Wadey, Exo48, who has actually cleared off to go watch the Russian Grand Prix. Thank you for everyone else to join the post-race interviews. That was pretty good. Hopefully we won't have too many more technical difficulties for the coming rounds. If you're watching on YouTube, vote for your Oz and Zed combined drive of the day in the description below. So like, subscribe, do all the rest of it, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.